Hi everybody, I'm Tim from troutandfeather.com, and in this fly tying tutorial we have a special guest tyer, Mr. Dave Stewart of the Wet Fly Swing podcast. Stay tuned.
How's it going, everyone? This is Dave from wetflyswing.com, and today I'm happy to be on the show here and talk to you. I know you're Tim's crew, and it's really great to meet you if I haven't seen you before. I'm going to show you how to tie a Benevolent Dictator. We've got kind of a humorous slant on the fly, but it is a killer pattern, a great pattern for summer steelhead especially, and just works really well fishing, kind of when you need a small buggy fly. This is tied on a size 6, and you can see from the video I go into details, but you can tie it as small as you like. I like to tie really sparse and small flies for summers because I think that's important. But this pattern is just fished, downstream and across, typical wet fly swing style. Yeah, you can check out the video. If you want to find me, you can go to wetflyswing.com/show, where I am the host of the Wet Fly Swing Fly Fishing Show. We cover everything from steelhead in Season 1, trout Season 2. We've got all sorts of great, amazing guests, including Tim Kamisa himself, who's been a guest on. So I'm looking forward to keeping that relationship going, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks.
All right, how's it going, everyone out there in Tim land? I've got a cool pattern to show you today that's definitely kind of a I guess you could call it kind of a secret pattern. This is the Benevolent Dictator. This fly is a good one. This is one of my go-to flies for steelhead. And what I'm going to do here, it's good to tie these on, we like to go, these are for summer steelhead, I like to go small. This is actually on a size, I believe a size 6, 24, 41 Daiichi, but size 8s work, and you can even go smaller than that. I'm going to do this one on a size 6, and we're going to start with just some polar orange dub, and I'm going to put a little bit, this stuff's pretty easy to work with, but I'm going to put a little bit of wax on the thread here, and then I'm just going to take a nice little bunch here just to get started, and kind of just wrap that in. And it's good to have when you tie this dubbing on. You don't need it really bulky, but it's okay if there's some stuff sticking out, and as you use it more, it'll get picked out even more. But there's no tail on this at the very back, but as we get up towards the front, you can see about like that, because we're going to have this, and then we're going to have the upper part of the fly a majority of the other color. And then we're just going to take some golden pheasant here, take off a little, pluck one of these off, and then we're just going to take, not a bunch, you want to get the ones lower or a little bit higher up, so you can see I'm just going to pluck about, try to keep them fairly even. I'm going to pluck about that many. I'll just cut that off, and then so what this is going to go is right over the top. Okay, so this is actually the tail. It just goes in here. We'll do a loose wrap, one over the top, and then we'll go here. We can cover that up. Get that really secure. So there's your tail. And then what we're going to do is wrap up here, and we're going to take this is just some old school, just some yarn, just black yarn. And sometimes if you get too many strands, you'll want to pull. This one's pretty good to go. I'm just going to tie this in like this. sometimes if you have like 4-strand yarn, you might want to pull apart some of the strands. And this one, I'm just going to go with this since it's about the right thickness. I'll just go right up, start the fly. And you see this yarn, it's got a little bit of some fringe to it, which is nice. And you can see the idea with this fly, it's low, a very small profile. Almost the smaller the better. Go about right there. And then we're just going to take any sort of brown is good for this. You could even use something mottled. Just going to use a little brown hackle here and cut it off right at the back, right about there. I'm going to strip off a little bit for the anchor, tie that on, and just wrap a few of these because you don't need too many. Again, you want to keep it fairly sparse on this fly. And you can use, like I said, there's different colors. You don't have to go with this brown. This one works pretty well. Then you're going to come back and pull back here, get all those out of the way, and then wrap back over just to get what you want to get is these hackles at about a 45, like you see here, 45-degree angle back, just about like that. And then we're just going to use for the wing some teal flank feathers. We're going to cut off a nice bunch here. You want to get the stuff that's kind of not the real webby stuff, but kind of in the middle here, middle towards the top. So I'm just going to take a nice bunch. You want to get a nice bunch for the wing. Try to get it fairly even, so I'm going to cut it about right there, and you can see how much I'm getting, about that much. And then I'm just going to kind of even this up, and what you want to do is you can kind of see the bend of the feathers, and you want them to bend kind of back towards the back. And when you put it on, you want to just go almost towards the tail, not quite. I'm going to put that right on top just like that. Just wrap down. And again, this doesn't have to be totally perfect. We're just getting on a basic wing. And you want it to sit down. That's one of the keys with this thing. You want it to sit down. So there we go. And this, those of you in Timland, if you ever get out you want to go for some summer steelhead, this is one that will be, I guarantee, a great pattern. And for summers, we're just going to finish off the head, cover up our stuff here. There's also another name for this, the Nina, and this fly was actually created by a friend of mine, Isaac, and he calls it the Nina, but we used this on a trip, one Deschutes trip, and we proceeded to pretty much have one of our best trips of all time. Fishing, and I've been fishing ever since. Been fishing this, but you can get a look at what this thing looks like. You got basically, it's pretty straightforward. Not a lot of flash. I mean, this is natural. This is what you get with summer steelhead. Is some really natural looking flies. And there's a little bit of flash here in the back. It's got kind of a butt, but yeah, that's the Benevolent Dictator, which is the name we came up when we were on the trip and catching a bunch of steelhead, and that was our name for the fly. So yeah, hey, just want to thank Tim for giving me a chance to tie up this fly, And I'll look forward to hopefully catching up with you soon, and maybe see you on the next one.
So if you're anything like me, you were sitting back with your coffee mug enjoying Dave tie that fly. Dave, thank you so much for taking the time to share that with all of us. And now let me share with all of you how this video came to be. So Dave is the host of a podcast. It's called The Wet Fly Swing. He's been making that podcast, and I believe he's now in his second season. I love podcasts. I listen to them whenever I'm driving back and forth to work, going fishing, on family vacations. And the short is, there's not a lot of fly fishing podcasts out there. Just knowing that Dave made it to his second season, it speaks volumes, because most people only get through 2 or 3 episodes before they give it up, because it's a lot of hard work. So I definitely commend Dave. So he reached out to me and he asked if I would be on his podcast. I agreed to, and we had a blast with the interview. It was a little nerve-wracking because with these fly tying tutorials, I have the ability to edit stuff out. So you don't see a lot of the mistakes that I do make. However, Dave had all that power, and I think the podcast came out really great. I just had a blast being interviewed by him. I'll put a link to that podcast down in the description of this video, and I invite all of you to check it out. Dave asked me a lot of questions about how trout and feather came to be, fly fishing, fly tying, just all that basic stuff, and we had a lot of fun. During that interview, I found out that not only does he love fly fishing, but he also enjoys tying flies, as you just saw. So I said to him, listen, I've agreed to be on the podcast. How about you agree to tie a fly on my channel? He did so, and we were able to figure it out because he's from the West Coast of the United States. So it's not always easy trying to kind of get all this technology coordinated, but we were able to, and you saw him tie the Benevolent Dictator, AKA, I think he called it the Nina. What a cool summer steelhead fly. And even if you're not into summer steelhead, I think we can all appreciate some of the techniques that Dave showed. I saw techniques that can be integrated into trout fly tying, bonefish, striper flies, smallmouth bass flies. So there was a lot of stuff going on there. And for those of you that are into summer steelhead, I found it really neat that Dave said this is one of his go-to flies in the summertime. So fish this one, fish it with confidence. He talked a little bit about how he fished it, but by all means, reach out to Dave. Go ahead and pester him with all of your questions about this fly, because he shared a great one, and I'm sure he'd love to talk more about it. So aside from connecting with Dave on the podcast, I also want to let you know he does some fly tying stuff, I believe some webinars through the internet. So I'll put a link to all that stuff in the description of this video. And Dave, once again, thank you so much for kind of reaching out to me initially and setting up the interview for your podcast. And then thanks for agreeing to tie a fly from my channel. I really do appreciate it. Well, thank you to all of you for watching this fly tying tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below in the comments section, or you can email me at tcamisa@gmail.com. If you'd like to see more videos, especially from guest tyers, check out my website, which is troutandfeather.com. Once there, you can sign up for email updates so you don't miss anything, right? I'm also on social media. You'll find Trout and Feather on Facebook and on Instagram. Once again, thank you everyone for watching. Dave, thanks for taking the time, and I'll see all of you soon.